Yeah, good enough.
That's good.
We are live.
Bum, bum. Is everything good to go? Looks like it. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Cool. Sweet. Well, welcome back to another live video. We are on episode 6, so that also means that this is our 6th live video. Between episode 5 and 6 of the CrewCab build, we did have another video on my 66 Ford, so we might actually watch that after this one. As kind of like a bonus video, talk about the truck. Or if this goes long enough, we'll stop it like that, and you guys can check out that video. It's just a walk around about my 1966 Ford, and I remember talking about it, and I said that I had a bunch of YouTube shorts on the 66 Ford, and so I kind of wanted to do a walk around video of it, so that way people just didn't think that we only worked on my 76 CrewCab, but then I'm also posting about my 66 Ford, so I just wanted there to be some clarity with that. But yeah, you guys can go watch that one, but we're gonna watch this episode, which is episode 6. We install the coolant package into the CrewCab. Look how drowsy I look. Got that neck hair.
Woo! Your eyes look actually blue in there.
Oh yeah.
Now. I didn't know they're not blue. They're like gray.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the 6th episode of
Might
our
change with the
F750
season.
CrewCab build series. In the previous episode, you saw us marry our transmission to our
My lips
engine,
look
which
glossy,
means in
though.
today's
Look at those
episode,
things.
we're going
Huh?
to move the
My
cab
lips look glossy. Look at those
back
things.
Yeah.
into place, reinstall our fenders,
Balls.
we don't get to it, and get going on
DLC.
mocking up our coolant system and our lines. So there's nothing to it but to do it, so stay tuned.
Dun, 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 dun.
Today we want to get going on the coolant system and figuring out exactly where it needs to go, where it needs to be set, and start fabbing
Is
up
everybody
some
turn
mounts
this up
for
just
it.
a little bit?
We're going to use,
Maybe mine's not on.
hopefully, the factory mounts
Turn
for
it
it.
Can you
We're going to
hear
have to
it?
figure out exactly where they need to go, but we're pretty confident we're going to be able to use the same setup. Hopefully there's not too much fabbing or anything like that.
Hopefully there's not
Obviously
too
the
much
coolant
fabbing
system
for this
is
cooling package.
imperative to
Or
this
this
thing running
truck.
properly and running smoothly. So it might take us a couple tries, but this has got to be perfect for the sake of the vehicle. We're also going to get the fan shroud on, things like that, and figure out exactly where we can put the coolant system in regards to our grill and the front of the vehicle. So there's nothing to it but to do it. So we got the fan and the shroud on. When we're running our coolant lines, line from here that wraps around under here, it's hitting these front cross members. So we're gonna get those out of the way really quickly and keep going.
Do we need to add something like that back to the frame?
Yeah. We will.
So Kyle got this cross member out of here. That was for the old radiator core support for the original engine. But he got that out there. There's a bracket right here he knocked out, a couple rivets, a couple bolts. So we can move on and keep plumbing our coolant system. And hopefully we'll have plenty of room now to get moving forward. So nothing to it but to do it. Oh,
Just gotta make fun of Joe. Look at Joe. Look how sleepy he looks. Look at his hair. Not on
Dude, he did look sleepy that day.
How long ago is this?
A while. I don't think think you were getting much sleep at night.
You and I
The reason why I say
are the same.
what like when it was it might have been when
You have
Baron
so
was
much pain in you.
born. My youngest son, he might have been just born around that same time, so
That you can't
sleep was
contain
probably not existent at that time. Kyle just loves to point out when I look like total dog shit. Look at these rings around this guy's eyes.
Yeah, that's what my mom said. My mom goes, "Oh, you look so tired. Your eyes are red and puffy. You look so sleepy." I was like, "No, Mom, I just look like shit."
I'm just ugly. Thanks to you and Dad. The worst part is when they don't say anything and then they point out when it doesn't look that bad. Like my mom's pointing out, she's like,
So
"Oh,
we just
you
put
don't
the
have
cooling
rings around
system
your eyes
up,
today." I'm
and
like, "Oh,
we're
thank
about
you."
4 inches, 3 inches too high of where it needs to sit in retrospect to the motor. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to cut this bumper out, and
That
then we
fan
gotta
and
cut
shroud
to the
fits really
frame.
well between those frame rails.
Obviously,
like,
this is
really
Yeah.
nicely.
where the front support is for the frame, and so we can't move this further back. Obviously, that's where your spring mount, things like that. So we're gonna come right next to it, cut it all the way up and around, do the same thing on the other side, and we feel like that'll give us adequate enough space to get the coolant system dropped down and in place and get it the right height and proper placement for the motor. We're gonna have to build a custom mount for the underneath, but we've already done that twice before on the engine and the transmission, so it's nothing new. So there's nothing to it but to do it.
I like how we took our time on this one. Like our time. To
So we
get
marked
this
out
thing cut
exactly
out,
where we're gonna cut the
and we had
frame
to
out
just
of.
chop
I
the
missed
whole
cut
thing
cut the
off.
whole
last time,
fucking thing off.
Yeah.
anyway.
and we're actually gonna keep the bumper on. We're gonna use all the support.
It actually
there.
makes sense, like
Essentially, we're just gonna
theoretically
cut
at the
out the
beginning,
frame,
like just
Get
notching it
here.
down to.
Hopefully that gives
Well,
us
our
adequate
biggest thing is
amount
we
of
didn't know how
space,
far
and
down it
then
needed to go,
we're
so we
also
thought we
gonna
could
need
just notch
to-
it
the
down
coolant system-
a little at
Well,
a
we knew it
time.
needed to go about
system
4
ugh,
inches,
is
but it was
pretty
the
wide.
angle of
Right
it.
out here.
The angle it had to
So
sit
Kyle
kicked out.
suggested pretty much boxing it
Too
out
far out.
and back into the bumper and reinforcing all of it. I can't talk today, jeez. Reinforcing all of it because we also do need to have some support coming up for the coolant system as well. So that's where we're at right now. We're gonna cut this out, leave the bumper, unlike what I just said, and hopefully by the next video I'll be able to talk and we'll have adequate amount of space for the coolant system.
That bumper is so heavy. No wonder they welded the damn thing on. Yeah, this is like 2 years ago.
Our black shit on
Oh,
my
this-
finger.
do you remember
I'm
this?
hoping to wipe it on Joe's forehead and say Simba. We'll see how it goes.
Where'd you get that from?
Huh?
Is it the oil from the engine?
It's from the intake of the bad engine.
Oh.
I just stuck my thumb there. I was like, ew. It looks like soot. It's like
Yeah.
thick tar.
Hey, Joe.
Do you think I'm doing something wrong?
I know you don't trust me, but I need you to lift up your hood and close your eyes real quick. Simba.
Update time. I just grinded down all of this. It's not 100%
dark it
yet,
is.
but we want to bring the coolant system back in, test it out,
Huh?
and
It was
make sure
dark
it
on my
fits
forehead.
before doing
Oh
anything
yeah,
That was
else.
super
Just in
dark.
It
case
was, it was like tar.
cut out extra just to make it fit. The coolant system is going to hang out somewhere around here. It's going to overhang, which is fine because the drain plug is going to be somewhere right around here, which is perfect, really accessible, so there's not going to be an issue with that. But we're going to bring the coolant system back in, get it in place. It's going to be very close. We're hoping it fits. Worst case scenario, we have to grind this out some more. So we'll let you guys know how it fits, and there's nothing to it but to do it. Let's get after it. All right, update, guys.
This thing is so massive.
So it doesn't fit. We got to make the opening a little bit wider. We're gonna cut out more of the frame back towards the motor. Like Kyle pointed out, it fits the core of the coolant system. It just doesn't fit the outer frame, if you can tell right here. On each side it's hitting, but there is clearance. You look down it, all the way down it. So we're gonna notch out the frame a little bit more and get that cut out, and hopefully attempt number 2 will work out.
It'd been kind of interesting to see how different the front end would have come together if we did get it to fit.
All right, you guys,
in that
update
frame.
time. We got the
I
front
think the
bumper
front end
off,
all would have been the same.
Yeah.
'Cause
just to give us some
we couldn't
more
get it
room to
down.
work
Yeah.
when it comes to grinding these down and things like that. So next up is we're gonna clean this up a little bit. We're pretty much right there. Obviously in the last video, or the last update, you guys saw just how close we were. So we're gonna clean it up some more, really make sure that these are 90 degrees. And I think that'll do it for us. I know we're probably gonna get some flack for cutting into the frame like this. However, we are gonna box it all up. We had to cut into this support a hair bit. So when we finally have the coolant setup in place and mounted in there exactly how we want, we're gonna pull it out and we are gonna box all of this in just to reinforce it. We're not too concerned about structural stability just because this is a massive support. It's 8 inches wide, 10 inches wide, something like that. And it does have, it's got bolts, it's got rivets everywhere, stuff like that. So the front end, the frame isn't gonna move side to side. So that's why cutting into the frame in the very front isn't a big issue. So like I said, once the coolant system is in there, fitted, mocked up, we'll come back and box everything up. So next up, we're gonna just clean this up some more, grind it out a little bit, and hopefully make enough room to fit the coolant system back into place. So we haven't cleaned up the frame yet. We just wanted to test fit it to make sure it looked good. And this right-hand side, it actually fits. Now, obviously, it's not gonna set on there. Obviously, this isn't its final resting place. We are gonna build mounts back for the original mounting, like in the Super Duty. So, but for the sake of this video,
Could we have
sake of
cut
getting
the
in there, this is
frame at
obviously
an
the
angle
first step.
to maintain
This side
that
over here, we
angle
have to trim up
back
a little bit more to get it to
with
set
this,
down,
though?
but it's almost in the exact
Like above the
factory
shackles?
position
We-
as
we
the Super
could've,
Duty.
but we still
You
would've
look at
ran
the
into the same
coolant
issue.
hose.
Yeah.
Obviously, it comes up a little bit, but once it's fallen back into place,
Also, I
and
feel
the
like
far
we've
side
cut
is down.
so close to the shackles
it will
anyways
be
that
pretty
like
dang
cutting above
close.
it is not
We have enough
something I'd
room
wanna
to
do.
where we can actually
Yeah.
shim it up or shave it off a little bit. If you look inside here, we're gonna bring it down a little bit lower, so that'll bring the overall height down a little bit lower and make that line even more factory. Anything, Kyle? No. Man of many words.
The infamous Kyle.
It's funny how I just
Say
don't
nothing.
talk or work it. I'm just like, and I don't think anything of it. And then like when you watch the video, it's like I don't talk at all.
You're probably sitting there thinking how dumb I sound when I talk.
Not usually. Only when you say music.
Oh yeah, so it doesn't.
So we got the Fran and we got the shroud on. Okay, I had to do a retake because I said
I was starting
Fran
to watch it,
instead
and I
of
was like,
fan.
"That's
I have no
kinda
idea what he's doing. Anyways,
Got that
Kyle was
Fran?
laughing at me, so retake. Okay, we got the fan and we got the shroud on.
But you just-
So we went to put the lower shroud on, and okay, we got the fan and we got the shroud on. Got the Fran.
Oh, the
Man of many
brand.
words.
Like can join the two together or something like that. Something weird. It's almost shorts and boot season again.
So we got the Fran and we got the shroud on. Okay, I had to do a retake because I said Fran instead of fan. I have no idea what I was doing. Anyways, Kyle was laughing at me, so retake. Okay, we got the fan and we got the shroud on. So we went to put the lower shroud on, and we're hitting the frame just a hair bit. Going
The
back.
shroud for the radiator, not the gamer.
Yeah, exactly. Anywho, going back to how the radiator is at a slight angle back, we're running into the difficulty of hitting the frame. So you can kind of tell where it needs to be. All the lines line up. So what we're gonna do
Okay, who is
is,
Shroud though?
if you look back here
Yeah,
at this
is he a
angle,
big
we're hitting the
screen?
top of
Oh.
the frame. And it
One of
doesn't
the
allow
best
us
in
to
the world
push
when
it
it
all
comes
the
to
way
first-person
in
shooters.
up against the fan and the shroud. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just notch it out a hair bit, essentially like this. It's nice, this thing is so dirty you guys can actually get a visual. So we're gonna essentially do that. That'll give us an adequate amount of space to push it back and be able to have it just like it was in the factory truck.
It's crazy that I haven't seen this
we
truck
can keep
this
chugging
bare in
along
so
and
long
getting
that I
going
completely
on
forgot that this is
fitting
even on there.
completely.
Yeah.
So there's nothing
I
to it but
forgot
to do
that we
it. Let's
cut
cut
it
these out and see how it fits.
If I remember right, this idea did not work.
No, don't we eventually just cut the entire thing out or something like that?
All right, guys, this is what we have so far.
Yeah, we just said don't cut.
Yeah,
them
the whole
off.
bottom just
So
gets
far,
cut.
this does work. We had to cut out
Does
a
look
little
nice,
bit
though.
more
That's
than
really
this
tight.
Tiny little square, just because we are hitting this brace right here. But that is how it sits right now. It sits in there pretty dang good. We're gonna go get the coolant set up. Pretty damn good. So we're gonna go get the coolant system set up, bring it in here, test it again just to make sure everything fits,
Just yell.
and
Shut
we'll
up.
keep you guys updated.
Shut up! I'm trying to
Update
work
time,
here.
you guys. We have the coolant set up, we have the shrouds, we have the fan, and guess what? It doesn't fit. Kyle and I kind of
Got you
had
guys.
our doubts when we were, we kept having to grind out the bottom of the frame, things like that. We knew we were higher up from factory, but we didn't know how much until we got the upper shroud on. You can tell
Good lord.
that is quite a bit. So we're going to restart the whole entire process. What we're going to end up doing is A, brainstorming, but B, we're thinking essentially we're going to cut off the front of the frame, which will allow the coolant system to sit lower. Obviously, it'll sit on its mounts and things like that right here, so all the weight will still be technically on the frame, but we feel like that's probably our only bet right now and kind of our next point of action. So we're gonna get going on that. We'll let you guys know how it goes, but if you're ever gonna do a 6-7 swap in a dent side, cut the frame off. It's gonna save you a whole lot of time. We have a couple hours into this and it turns out that it doesn't work. So we kind of knew there's
Yeah,
gonna
a
be a lot of
couple
R&D
days.
into this
Yeah.
project, so we kind of ran to our first research and development. You didn't know that? R&D, research and development.
Out of any people or any person on this earth,
At least you didn't get in my hair, On my face all you want, just don't get in my hair. Wipe it off.
Once everything's
out of anyone I've
perfectly
ever met, I
organized,
feel like you
I'll
would have
start
been one of
working
the
on my
people that would know what
thesis.
R&D means.
Grammarly will
I've
ensure
never
you
heard
feel
that
confident nailing your
acronym.
final
Like, it's
thesis
never
by
used like
supporting
that.
your writing journey from start to finish.
Me using the torch for the very first time and my teacher Kyle making sure I'm not burning down the entire truck and shop.
So we just got the front of the frame cut off. You can see that. Same with the other side. Now remember, this is going to be boxed in, so we're not going to be losing any support or anything like that. And then also this cradle right here, this front support, it is
Because we can essentially,
really
that
wide,
triangle that's missing, we can essentially
8-10
box that
inches
whole entire
wide,
thing
and it has
in.
rivets all the way throughout back
tie it
here,
into
bolts,
everything.
everything. So we still have the support and the durability we need. We're just shortening the frame for the purpose of the coolant system. So next up, we are going to figure out how to mock up mounts off the sides of these. We have some C channels, so I think we're going to try to utilize that just so that way the C adds some support, some downward support for the coolant system. So we're gonna figure that out, mock it up really quickly, and get some pieces cut, test them out. So there's nothing to it but to do it. Let's get after it. All right, guys, update time. We cut off the front of the frame, grinded down all of the rough edges. Here we have our C channel. We did a little half moon to compensate for the contour of the frame, so that way we have a nice firm fit for our welds. So we didn't exactly cut the frame in the exact same spot. We tried to, obviously, but
These are so damn strong.
it's not down to the exact measurement on each side.
weren't
So
you,
what
like,
we're gonna actually
jumping
have
on
to do
them?
is we're gonna measure from this rivet back.
Like these
And
brackets
that's where
off
we're
the
gonna have
side.
to find our
they're on
location
there.
for our bracket. Also, we're gonna run these long, so they're gonna look a little goofy because they're gonna be long. But we don't know if that's where we need to tie in for the fenders when we move the cab up and install the fenders. So for now, don't give us crap. They're gonna be long. They're gonna be goofy. They're gonna look like Dodge tow mirrors. They're gonna be out, but that's for the purpose of the fenders. We'll come back and cut them to the exact spot we need them later. So there's nothing to it but to do it. Let's grind these down, smooth them out, and test fit them.
So we're drilling holes. Kinda. We're gonna drill 2 holes, 2 3/8 holes. We beat for the frame, one here, one here. Put my 3/8 bolts there. Just gonna clamp that to get all that together. I'm drilling the 1/2-inch hole here, which we already did. We're gonna put a bolt up. That's basically just gonna be a dowel for our cooling package to sit on, like it would in the factory mounts over in the F250. So these are 1/4 inch right now. That's
God,
our
I hate
1/2 inch
my
bolt
bolts.
just sitting there. We're gonna weld the
How
bottom
do you
of
think I
it.
feel talking the whole
That's really all we
time?
need.
Huh?
How do you think I feel
That's it.
talking
I
the whole
know,
time?
dude.
All right, you guys, update time.
It's so painful to actually listen to you
So
talk.
we actually
Like not you,
changed
but like
pace a
yourself.
little bit. So what we actually did was we first drilled our holes for our nuts and bolts for the frame mounts. And then we actually went ahead and just welded in some bolts in place of the factory mounts. And the reason being for this is when we first looked at it in the C channel, we were like, oh wow, that's a perfect fit. However,
I remember where you're
it's-
gonna cut those out and
it's
just drop
actually
them
too
into
good of a
place.
fit. And the reason why I say that is because we're gonna have some more bracketing and things coming off the front for the front bumper. And we also might have to have a support piece coming up for the front fenders. And by cutting out almost all of the middle section, we're kind of scared that it's not gonna be sturdy enough or durable enough to kind of keep mounting things on top of it. So we decided to essentially just bolt a hole through it, or weld a bolt through it, and so we think that's going to be adequate. It's pretty much exact same diameter, same length, and so essentially our coolant system is going to just sit right on top of it, just like it would on the factory mount. So we're going to bring the coolant system over right now, set it in place, see how it fits, and hopefully we have some good news for you guys. You guys, it fits, it works. Looks pretty sharp. Look at that, resting perfectly on there. That looks clean. Kyle, this is all Kyle's idea. I wanted to keep using the factory mounts, and he said, screw it, let's make something custom. So that's what we did. So the only thing holding us up now is the lower valence right here. We're just in the previous
Shroud.
the shroud,
yeah,
not the
no, the
valence.
valence.
Anyways,
What is the valence?
What is that?
so you
A
know how you
shroud-
have a
just
grill
shroud,
valence,
like a lower shroud
above,
and upper
sometimes
shroud?
you have below.
Yeah, shroud.
A grill valence? Balance? Maybe one of those. Don't quote me on anything you guys are listening to. Anyways, so the lower
because
shroud
doesn't
right now.
grills have like
we
valences or
cut
like?
out enough to go over the frame, but however now we're hitting on the bracket coming out. So essentially
Kyle's
we're just
gonna Google
L
it really quickly to see
and that'll
what it is.
allow
Myself wrong
us
again.
to let it sit back at the exact appropriate position it needs to sit, because as you guys can tell, it's not completely vertical. It is sloping back towards the motor right now. However, if you look at the factory mounts, that's sitting flush on the new mount. So that's exactly where it needs to fit. It does naturally sit back a hair bit. So we're gonna cut that out, retest it, and we'll give you guys an update here soon. All right, you guys, we trimmed that up a bit and it fits a hell of a lot better now. Obviously you can tell this is where our front support is for the grill, other things like that. And now we know exactly where we need to build the support for the coolant system. Right here, you can tell there's a piece actually that goes like this. So essentially we're gonna have to build a bracket that goes from there down to our lower support. So that's
The
why
French
we're keen
word,
on making this
which
as strong
means
as possible because it
watching
is going to be
the
carrying some weight and some stability. So next up we'll make a bracket coming
Did
from
you
up here.
look up
That'll
like
attach
grill
into here,
valence?
but besides that, everything is matching up perfectly.
Let's see.
The factory hoses are literally perfect. I'll show you this one over here.
It comes from
really
a French
quickly.
word Baylor, which means to watch.
This one tucks up underneath the fan and the shroud, and it literally matches up perfectly. Right? Boom. Right there.
So it's
So
for like, maybe
we're
like
not
a
bending it
bumper?
around the frame. We're not forcing it anywhere it doesn't want to go. It literally fits
Yeah,
just perfectly
it's-
right in there. So
I know it's not.
we're
I'm an idiot.
floored about it. We're
It's a
beyond happy
word.
with the way it's turning out.
But you were
and,
still wrong.
we're
Yeah,
just gonna
I was
keep
still
going forward.
wrong.
So
I
next
was.
step was
I've heard of
we're
like
gonna figure out
bumper
if we need to build the
valences and stuff like that.
brackets
Where's
first,
the
or
camera? I'm trying to show.
what we need to do exactly up
So
next.
that's like your valence
Right,
right
Kyle?
there.
Kyle had the idea of
Up underneath that. Okay, fine. I'll be wrong.
just using the factory supports and things like that. So we're going to try to cut these out first and see if we can't use them. So we're going to cut out this piece, and then we're also going to keep this intact and see if we can't
Oh, yeah, we could've kept
bolt
that
it
too.
onto the
Did we?
F750's inner
Huh?
fenders.
Did we keep
So
that?
we're going to give that a shot just because it'll save us a lot of time right now.
you
So
use it?
Kyle's going to start grinding
Oh,
those
yeah.
out, cut them out, and we'll let you guys know how they fit.
Hi, I'm Wade. This
Third
is an ad
brand
for Third Brand
diesel.
Diesel. Ads suck, but you know what
Third
doesn't suck
Third
is the
Steve,
sound of a brand new
turbo,
turbo on a diesel
turbinators.
truck. Turbos,
They're like, we need the guy with the
turbinators,
thickest
spool
accent.
your
Put on a
seat.
Carhartt shirt. You're in our ad.
Thinking about it, we might have been able to save the whole piece where it wraps around back, and we would have been able to use a lot more mounting stuff.
Oh yeah. So essentially from the bottom of the frame to like all the way back to the fender or something like that. Yeah.
Update time, you guys. So we got the side mounts on.
Because we did cut it off pretty prematurely. Well,
We have the upper and the lower support right here. Yeah, everything's bolting up as if we were just putting it right back onto the donor truck. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pull everything off, put the shroud, the fan back on, put the upper shroud right here on, and that way it's
I love
all
how we're
one
using a,
unit, and we can put it
a
back
bungee
onto
to
the
hold
truck,
it back.
see exactly where it needs to fit, and mark where we need to mount these into place. So there's nothing to it but to do it, right, Kyle? Here it is, you guys. We have the fan, the
She's like,
shrouds, the upper
"Bro,
shroud, the
don't
lower
talk to
shroud,
me."
everything in. The last thing we wanted to do was A, to make
I
sure
appear
everything
very
fit,
grumpy,
and
like
B,
every
to make
time
sure
you
the
ask me
fan
questions.
had clearance, right?
I
We're
hope
not
people
in
don't think that. He's
exact
like the
same
nicest person
position
ever. He's
as it was
freaking
factory,
hilarious.
so we had
And
to
every
make
single
sure
time I
that
ask for an
the
update, he's
lower
like,
shroud
even
was
in new
intruding
videos,
with
I'll
the
ask you for
fan,
that.
but there's
I know,
that
I'm like,
chance
how do you
to
like it, Colin? He's
really
like,
do it again for you guys, so you guys don't think I'm lying. Look at that bad boy. So
I'm like, smile for the camera, smile for the camera.
next thing we're gonna do is we believe we have it in the proper place. Now, if you can tell, this is a little bit off. We are going to
This
level
actually,
her up,
this whole
make it
system actually works out
nice and
really
flush
well.
on the outside.
Like really
And the
well.
reason why we're doing this is because in the factory truck for this 6.7, the mount, this mount and this post, whatever you want to call it, bracket, support, whatever, they were in line on the same piece of material as factory. So we know that this and this have to be in line. So this doesn't go this way, it doesn't go back a ton, it stays relatively straight and in line with this. So as long as we make sure we do that, I think we're gonna end up just, maybe it'll stick. Anyways, we're gonna
Stupid
end up just
magnets.
moving it right into line like that, and then we should be kosher. Now if we do that, that's how everything else lines out. And we're gonna keep literally the factory mounts for everything else. So attaching everything to the front of this vehicle is going to be literally just putting parts back onto it. So that's what we're going to do next is we're gonna figure out exactly where these need to go, weld them in
Kinda.
place, and we'll give you guys an update shortly.
Technically, yes, right?
Yeah.
Besides the grill.
The nice thing is, like,
Kyle
had to go
welded
buy
out
new
two of
shrouds,
the
something like
sides
this?
out of
Yeah,
the four.
you just take it off.
Did it on the other
Install
side.
a new one.
Obviously, to reach the other two sides, we gotta kind of disassemble everything that we just assembled and put on. So, we also have a couple more bracketing and what am I trying to say? Some more stability that we have to weld onto here. I don't know why I can't find this word.
Biggest brain fart ever.
Yeah, there you go. That's
So
what
I didn't
I'll let him
even
talk.
have the right word.
Anyways,
Supports.
So there is some more stuff.
The
we
word
have
was
to do to
supports.
this.
We couldn't
Yeah.
even figure it out.
Since we cut out.
You know, when we
the
join
frame,
together our
that's
10
where
brain
the
cells,
bumper
we can do a lot.
attached to, obviously. And
Look
so
at our
since we
5
cut
brain
that out,
cells.
we have to have
First
bumper
place.
mounts come from here out.
Yeah.
And so
Like,
there's
I
still
know
a
the
bit
answer.
more
No, I know
modification that
the
we need
answer.
to do to this. We have a couple more. We have 2 bolts on each side. But for today, that's it. We have hit another huge milestone. Kyle and I were just talking. First big milestone was the motor. Second big milestone was the transmission. And here we are. We have the coolant system fabbed up. All right, you guys, that's going to be a wrap for today's episode. We've been chugging away at this thing for so long. We're
Chugging
finally
away.
getting a lot of stuff done to this truck. Finished the coolant system finally. We're stoked about that. The next biggest phase of this build complete. So
It's funny
next
that
up is
these
to bring the
these
cab
were the
forward,
easier
toss some
parts of the
fenders
whole
on
thing.
it, get
Oh,
going
now
on,
looking
where
back?
the body panels need to
Yeah.
be.
Like we're like,
And,
dang, the rest was
just
gonna be
keep our
cake.
feet
And we're
going.
like,
So
I guess like, we have to make this. We have to
hope you
figure out
guys
like
enjoyed
it's,
it.
like that was
Alex
the
came out of
easy
the
stuff.
closet, if you know what I mean. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
What do you think the hardest part or the longest part has taken? Because I feel like mounting the engine, like to this phase, like you said, has been super quick and easy.
Yes.
I feel like the fenders and fitting everything inside took a while.
The fenders and I think the dash has taken us the longest.
Yeah, because it's like we've had dash videos that we've posted, like, oh, did the dash, did this, but it's like every time we look at it, we're like, oh, we should add this, or oh, we should need to do
change
this. Oh, we need to change this.
We still need to add this. We don't know how this is gonna work.
Like, for example, I've been working on the grill the past couple weeks, and Kyle's been working on the dash again the last couple weeks because we had ideas of stuff we wanted to put into like a center console and like where to put stuff. But then like the more we talk about it, the more we think through things. We're like, well, we can't do that. We got to do this. And so
Yeah.
Kyle's been going to town on the dash, modifying it even more than what we already have. It's like a never-ending game of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's aggravating.
Yeah.
But it's not terrible.
It's all making progress though.
That's a nice thing, right? As long as we always are like constantly making progress, that eventually the truck's got to get done at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be done.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks that it's taking so long, but as long as we maintain progress and constantly are getting stuff done, we can't really complain too much on that. So
That's true.
it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, that was so quick to get that coolant package in. For some reason,
So
I thought
quick.
it took way longer.
It took us a while. We put that thing
Yeah. I just remember constantly putting it in, figuring out that we need to cut it out. The timeline to complete this thing is whenever it is done.
We told ourselves that we were gonna hit a car show, Hot August Nights, this year. I don't think we're gonna make it.
Here's the thing that Kyle and I keep running into. Essentially, we could just throw it back together and be done with it, right? Like I've seen diesel swapped engines into classic Fords that the whole entire interior is still torn apart, but the people are just driving them around. And I'm like, I don't get that at all. Like, I've seen people power stroke swap these diesels, come in swaps, and it's like, on the outside, they look done, right? They're painted, wheels, tires, lift kits, like they are mobbing down the road. And then you look inside, and it's like there might be a bench seat in the front, and that's it. No back seat. Like the dash is completely torn apart. The wires are all exposed. To get this thing to shows, if we really wanted to this summer, we could just throw it back. We didn't even have to paint it. We could just throw it back together,
Yeah.
right? But the fact that we are doing things, tearing it apart, redoing things, tearing it apart, like the constant, it's essentially to make as close to a perfect final product as possible.
To where when it rolls out, it is done.
Yeah.
And then that's why it's all right. That project is done. It is out of the shop. It's now in use.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
My biggest fear is like pretty much half-assing it to get it to truck shows or just to enjoy it, and then having people nitpick it the entire time. And then us being like, well, we just wanted to get it done to like do no, like I'd rather have it be in here in the shop to get done the right way.
Good project cars, even restorations, they can. Like, most people take about 5 years.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. So that's not a very easy way to answer that question, but it is what it is. Unfortunately.
Yeah, we are not working on the truck this weekend.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be taking a little side quest out. Kyle's already taken his Jeep Gladiator out a couple times on some local trails, but we're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
But we're gonna record it this time, so we're gonna get an episode out of it. So I've had a drone for a couple years that I mess around with. I use it for our construction company, but we're gonna take it out on the trails with us, and I think we're gonna be able to get some cool videos.
Yeah.
Trail riding between the GoPros and the drone. We'll hopefully be able to make a pretty cool video for everyone.
We're gonna. Are we gonna go? Are you gonna come with us Friday? What are you doing Friday?
I don't know. Are you guys gonna go to Silver City or no?
Yeah, Saturday. We'll do the Silver City run Saturday, and we're gonna go up to the Trinity Lakes.
Oh.
I think on
Okay.
Friday. So we're try playing for us. So I have Brittany taking off work.
Yeah. Let's
Tag along.
let's
It's
talk
gonna be
about
like an all-day venture to go up there and go fishing.
yeah.
Probably hit snow. Probably be a little cold. But we'll see.
A little chilly, but yeah, it'll be fun. His in-laws. What kind of your in-laws? Your family?
Cousin-in-laws.
Okay.
Right? No. Yeah. Is that the right term?
Maybe. I'll have to ask Brittany.
They're Brittany's cousins.
His wife's
So, yeah,
cousins.
That'd be my cousin-in-laws.
Yeah. They have a Bronco, right? A new
Yeah.
Bronco.
Yeah.
So they're gonna take it on some trails too. So it'll actually be kind of cool, right? We'll actually get to see a Jeep Gladiator, not versus a Bronco, but it'll be kind of cool to see how both of
Yeah.
them operate with each other. And
He's gonna do way better. He's way more rough on his drunk. Like he's
he just beats it
he's
to
already
shit.
dude, he's already broken the grill. He's almost flipped it over. Like he's rough on that thing.
He's like, I got insurance for a reason.
Yeah, he just goes for it. So
Well, maybe we'll get some really cool videos.
Mhm.
Yeah. We got 3 GoPros. I'll have to get another mount for one of them, so that way we can get 2 of them mounted, and then
oh
yeah, it'll be a fun trip. Mainly because I've never done anything like that. I mean, obviously I've gone on trails and things like that, but never anything beyond that. You know, just dirt roads, pavement princess over here. So, we are pretty much at an hour. So it's quick and easy, short little video.
only 27 minutes long.
Yeah. I do know the next couple ones coming up are a little start getting longer. I have a couple like 40-minute long videos, 30 some odd minute long videos, so it'll just be interesting to see. Huh. Yeah, we might have to do that.
It's not a bad idea.
Especially with over time.
When did
threads
when did that comment get posted?
a year
A
ago.
year ago? I thought I would have read that. After I found out the channel was live, I literally been watching every video and going through and watching and reading every
Really?
comment. Yeah, every comment. I just sit there and read
Our own little biggest fan. So, yep, next Wednesday, same time, 8 o'clock. Kyle should be here again. It was nice having him here instead of me having to start the show off.
Yeah, it's a little easier to set up.
Yeah. A lot easier when he's doing it. I'm always messing with things. I have to have his wife, Brittany, log me into all the computer stuff. So then that way I can set it up. But next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, we'll be reviewing episode number 7. I don't even know what it's on.
Let's go look.
Oh, it's in that right-hand corner. With a front clip install. So that'll be a fun one.
Oh yeah.
The truck starts looking like a truck. We move the cab back and things like that. So, well,
Excuse me.
that's it. We're going to go hang out for the rest of the night and enjoy our Wednesday. But, yeah, there's nothing to about to do. Or we'll see you guys next Wednesday. And thanks for joining in.
See you, Old Norse.